Hello everyone. Our today's topic is different ways of searching algorithms. In the previous class only we started our algorithms topic, right? Okay, so actually here our algorithm is performing in the step-by-step format, right? Okay, so we have the different ways to perform our algorithms. Now we will discuss those different ways for algorithms. Okay, so we have actually here three types of means here actually we have the four types of algorithm different ways. Mostly we are using the three types only. Okay, see here, this question will be called like, okay, define algorithm and explain in detail about different ways of starting in algorithm, or else we can call this one is like define algorithm, explain about step by step and pseudocode format for this. Okay, so like this here we will get the question in exam. Okay, so let's see here how you are getting. Okay, actually, what is algorithm means here in the previous class already we discussed this one. Once you have to be check that one. Okay, so here we have the different ways of starting algorithms. Total we have the four different ways. Okay, mostly we are using the three different ways only. Okay, so we have the four different ways. Okay, four different ways of starting algorithm. Okay, ways of starting algorithm. Okay, so here we have the four different ways to start our algorithm. What we have the four different ways here? First one we have the step form. First one we have the step form, and second one we have the pseudocode. Okay, here P will be silent. Okay, pseudocode, and third one is the flowchart. And fourth one is the Nasi Scheiderman. Okay, we have the four different ways to start our algorithm. So first one is the step format, and second one is the pseudocode, third one is the flowchart, and fourth one is the Nasi Scheiderman format. Okay, let's see the first one, step format. Okay, let's see the first one, step format. Step form. Okay, so already we discussed this step form in the previous class. In the step-by-step manner we are describing our algorithm, right? So like that only here also we are describing this one. Okay, yes, step form is having the statements that are written in the sequential order. Okay, whatever you are writing the steps here that are required to write in the sequentially. Okay, step form. Okay, it consists of the statements. Okay, here I'm writing the statements in the shortcut format, STM-TS. Okay, so it consists of the statements written in sequentially. Okay, so in this step form, okay, so your whatever you're writing statements, that is always in the sequential format. It consists of the statements written sequentially. Okay, so these statements, whatever you're writing these statements, those statements are representing a procedure. Okay, so whatever your requirement, whatever you're writing, okay, that is definitely whatever you're writing the statement, that is have the one procedure. Okay, so that is representing the one procedure. That procedure is in the means here why you're writing that procedure means you have to be solve the problems. Okay, so yes, we have the some statements that is written in the sequential manner. Okay, so why we are writing that procedures here, you have to be whatever you have the statements, for that you have to be represent the one procedure. Okay, so that procedure is solving the problems. Whatever you have the problem in the previous class, already we did that one. Okay, so your average of the three numbers, and also we discussed one thing is like sum of the two numbers, right? So same like that here, whatever you have the problem, for that here you have to be perform the procedure to that statements. Okay, and next here each statement is solving the parts of the problem. Here every step is while you're writing the steps here, you have to be solve the all the parts for the problem. Okay, all these statements together to solve the our problem. So definitely whatever you are writing the statements to that, for that only here we are solving the our problem. Okay, for example, see here, normally here we are writing the step form algorithm, means here we can write that one into step by step format. Okay, step by step format. Okay, say simple step formats for the algorithm to find the number of persons in a queue. Okay, number of persons in a queue. Queue means your order. Okay, so here we are finding the one example. Okay, what is our example means here? A simple step form algorithm to find the number of persons in a queue. Okay, number of persons, how many number of persons here in the queue? So that is here we are finding that one. Okay, so here step 1 first. Okay, first in the step 1 you can write the begin, or else here I am starting this one. Algorithm is starts. Okay, in this step 2, find the queue. Here we are taking the number of the persons in the queue, right? So first here you have to be find the queue. Where we have the queue? Where we have the queue? So first of all you have to be find the queue. Find the queue. Right? So once you find out the queue, so then you have to be counts the persons. How many persons are there in that queue? You have to be count that one. Okay, once you completed the finding of the queue, so then you have to be count the persons from the starting only, not in the middle, not in the last. Okay, you have to be count from the starting persons only. Count the persons from starting. Count the persons from starting, you have to be fine here. Count the persons from the starting, you have to be find this one. And next here we have the step 4. Once you done the counting for that, find the next person. Okay, so here I am finding the step format algorithm to find the number of persons here in the queue. Okay, so yes, you done the counting for the persons from the starting. Okay, so once from the starting you have to be count, means here one person is completed from the starting. After that person is there or not, second position, third position, fourth position, fifth position, like that here you have to be calculate, right? Okay, find the next person. Okay, first you completed the first person, means here starting person, means here next you have to be go with the next person. Find the next person. Find the next person. Yes, you done the finding for the next person also. Okay, in this step 5, if number person exists, okay, if that person is exists, you can go to the stop. If that person is not exist, you have to be increase values for by 1. Okay, see here, if no person exists, means here find the next person. Here we wrote the find the next person, right? So if the person is there, no problem. If person is not there, you have to be stop the position. Okay, step 5, if no person, if no person means here persons is not there in the queue. Okay, if no person exists, go to step 8. Go to step 8 means here step 8 is the stop the process now here. Okay, so if person is exists, there is no problem. If not, you have to be stop the our problem. Okay, so and next here go with the step 6. Okay, if persons is there, you have to be increase the count value by 1. Okay, if persons is there, if persons is there, you have to be increase the value by 1. increment the count value by 1. Increment the count value by 1. Okay, have to be increase the count value by 1 always. You have to be increase the count value by 1. Okay, if the persons is there exist, if not exist here, you have to be stop that process. If exist, you have to be increased by 1 and 1 1 2 like that. Okay, so 1 by 1 means your one person is completed, you have to be move with the second person. Once that person is also completed, you have to be move another person like this. Yes, till the end of the queue, you have to be calculate, you have to be count the person's values, person's numbers. Okay, so and then here you completed this one, you can go to the step 7. Okay, so and here in the step 7, go to step 4. Okay, step 4 for find the next person. Yes, you incremented the, if person is there, you incremented the value 1. Actually in the starting position we have the one person, we are finding the next person. If there, yes, you are incrementing the 1 1 plus 1 2. If there, 1 plus 1 plus 1 3, like this here you are calculating, right? So means here every time you have to be calculate your next person is there or not. If that person is there, you have to be increased by 1. If not there, you have to be stop the condition, stop the problem. Okay, step 8. What we have in the step 8? Stop. We are starting the problem and we are stopping the problem. Okay, so here we took the one example is how many number of persons is there in the queue. Okay, so first here we are finding the queue where we have the queue. So by that here you are counting from the starting, you are counting the persons from the starting. So person who are there in the starting, so that is 1. Okay, so and next go with the next person. If that next person is there, you have to be increased by 1. If not here, you have to be stop the our process. So still repeat this condition up to here your queue is completed, count is completed. Okay, so like this here you are performing the steps format for our algorithm. Okay, so this is the step format. And next here we have the second one, pseudocode. Next we have the second one is the pseudocode. Okay, second one, pseudocode. Okay, here P will be silent. Right here, pseudocode is the one way to describe the general structure of a program. Here, pseudocode is the one type of your general structure. It is describing the general structure of a program. Okay, so means here this is also is in the English language only. See here, pseudocode describing general structure of a general structure of a program. Here our pseudocode, why we are writing the pseudocode means here it is also describing the one general structure of a program. Okay, so this pseudocode is also is in the English format, English language only. So the word pseudo, okay, here we have the pseudo, right? The word pseudo means your imitation. Your pseudo means your imitation. Okay, and here we have the code. Here what is code here? Code means your instructions. Code means your instructions. Here pseudo means your imitation and code means your instructions. Whatever you are writing the instructions to for perform the program, so that is performed by the our pseudo code here. Okay, so here whatever you are giving the instructions, that is taking the some programmatic language. Okay, code means here that is taking some programmatic language. Pseudocode is describing the one complete logic of a program. Your pseudocode is describing the whatever you have the program that is performing the complete problem. Okay, complete program here. Okay, so here once here it is describing the complete program for the complete program for the logic. Okay, so it is very easy to implement the our process. Okay, it is very easy to implement. Okay, so means here if does not here it is using the syntax or anything symbols, so it is just means it is not using the any syntax or any symbols. It is just using the English language by using the some statements only. Pseudocode is not taking the any syntaxes or symbols. It is using the English language. So by English language, it is performing the some statements. It is performing the some statements. So here I am taking the one example. Check prime numbers. Okay, here I am taking the one example. Okay, we want to check prime number, the algorithm. Okay, check prime numbers. Check prime numbers, the algorithm. Okay, here I am checking the algorithm. Here I am checking the prime numbers for the algorithm. So let's begin the example for. Okay, and in the step 1, always you have to be begin or else start. Okay, begin. Step 2. So here we took the topic is like check prime numbers, right? So then here you have to be declare the variables for that prime numbers. Here I am declaring the variables for that number, divisor and I. Okay, declare. Okay, have to be declared. So whatever you are taking variables, here I am taking. Okay, what variables here I am taking? Number. Here I am taking the number, divisor, and I. Okay, here I am taking the variables. Here I am declaring the variables, number, divisor, and I. Okay, so here after the taking the declaration of the variables, then you have to be go with the step 3. So in this here you have to be initialize the our divisor to 1. Okay, so a prime numbers, right? Here we are taking the prime numbers. Okay, so 1 2 3 4, everything is you have to be checked like this. Okay, so in the step 3 here I'm taking the initialize divisor to 1. Initialize divisor to 1. Okay, so first you have to be initialize the divisor to one number. Okay, so once you initialize it that one, so again you have to be initialize the I value to 2. Okay, in the step 4, initialize I value to 2. Here we are divisor is taking the 1, here I is taking the 2. Okay, so then here in the step 5, read num. Whatever you have the num, you have to be read that one. Step 5, read num. Read num. Okay, in the step 6, here you declare the variables, you initialize the values to the divisor and the I. Okay, so at last here you have to be write the num value. Okay, so here we are repeating the following 2 steps here. Repeat the following. So whatever here I am writing, you have to be repeat that one. Repeat 2 steps. Okay, until I less than number by 2. Your num means your number. Okay, so here you have to be repeat the following 2 steps, whatever here I am writing. Okay, here I will write the 2 steps for that. Until here I less than number by 2. Less than means here this is the larger value. So until further here you have to be perform for a repeating process. Okay, so here I am writing the repeating process for that. If reminder. Okay, if remainder of num by I is equals to 0. If remainder of num by I is equals to 0. Hi, what you take here? 2. Here we took the I value is like 2. Number, suppose whatever you took that one. So if remainder of num by I equals to 0. Okay, so means here you got the number is 2, means here 2 by 2 is 0. Yes, 2 by 2 is 0. So until, okay, say divisor to 0. Set, yes, you got the 0 means here that is setting to the our divisor. Set divisor to 0. Okay, so then you completed this one, you have to be go this step. Okay, then you can go to step 8. So your 8 means you have to be stop or you have to be end this program in this problem. Okay, so and also here we have the another one. Okay, if remainder is 0, you are going to the step 8. If that one is not 0, increment I to 1. Increment I to 1. Okay, repeat every time these steps until you are getting this answer. Okay, and here go to the step 7. Okay, so once you got this got that one, here you are finding the prime numbers right here. 2 by 2 means here you get the 0. Suppose you got the 0 means here that is prime number. Okay, so then here 2 plus 3, increment the value again and again here. Okay, so here next here we have the step 7. If divisor 0, suppose here if divisor 0, if divisor equals to 0, display, okay, whatever you got the divisor, okay, so that is 0, then you can display num is not prime. Okay, display, if you got the 0, so you can display that is not prime. Okay, display num is not prime. Okay, here suppose you got the 2 by 2 equals to 0, so that is not prime. Okay, else here if that one is not showing the 0, divisor equal to 0, then you can display that is the prime. Display num is prime. If that is 0, that is not prime. If that is not 0, that is prime. Okay, so and step 8. Okay, in this step 8 you have to be and. In this step 8 you have to be and this one. Okay, so whatever you can start or you can stop or else here you can begin or else you can end. Okay, so that is depends on what you took in the first step. Okay, so here first you are declaring the variables, by that here you are initializing for that. It is depends, your logic will be depends on that your what you took the problem. Okay, so not only 5 steps, not only 6 steps, not only 7 steps. Okay, so whatever you took the problem, so by that only here we are creating the logic. Okay, next here what we have, third one is the flow chart. What we have here, third one is the flow chart. We have third one is the flow chart. We have third one, flow chart. Okay, so how you are representing this flow chart here? See, flow chart is the one type of diagrammatic representation in the algorithm. Here, flow chart is the diagrammatic representation. Here, flow chart is the diagrammatic representation. Here, flowchart is the diagrammatic representation for the algorithm. So it is performing the, or else your flowchart will be builds the different types of boxes and symbols. Here it is this diagrammatic representation contains, okay, so different types of boxes and also it is having the different types of symbols. Okay, so this flowchart is having the different types of boxes and the different types of symbols. Okay, so and this flowchart will be performs whatever you given the programmatic or problem, that is performed in the box. Okay, so whatever you are performing, that is written in the box. Okay, that can be written in the box. Every symbol is incremented by the arrows to indicating the flow of information and the processing. Okay, so first here I will draw the one structure, you will understand. Okay, here I will draw the structure for this, you will understand how you are representing that one. See, okay, start. Okay, right? And next here, sum equals to 0. Sum equals to 0. And next here, so everything will be represented by the arrows to next incremental level, right? Num equals to 0. Num equal to 0. And after the completion, next go with num equals to num plus 1. Here what is num? Means your number. Num means your number. And next here go with this sum equals to sum plus num. Sum equals to sum plus num. Okay. So once you completed that one, you have to be give the okay logic. This is the logic. Is num is equals to 50? Question mark. Is num equals to 50? Right? And then you have to be print this one. Print sum. Print the sum. And next here, you can stop. Next here, you can stop. Right. Here we have this one. Okay. So this is the diagram. This is the diagram for this. Okay, let's see. Here. First you have to be start the our programmatic. Okay, first you have to be start. Okay, here I am taking the sum is equals to 0, num equals to 0. And then you have to be increment number is equals to plus 1 and sum is equals to sum plus num. Okay, so here I am taking the num value is like a 50. Okay, 50 plus 1. Means here not 50 plus 1. After 50 you have to be calculate this one. First here I am taking the 0 plus 1. Okay, num is equals to 0 plus 1. Right, 0 plus 1. 1, right? You got the 1. Sum is equals to 0 plus 1. 1 is num is equal to 50 means here you have to be check 1 equals to 50 or not. No, right? So same up to you got the 50 equals to 50. Here you have to be calculate for this. Okay, so this is the our flowchart description. Okay, here we have the some symbols. Here yes, here we are writing the boxes and the symbols, right? So everything will be represented by the or else here every symbols are interconnected by the arrows, right? So that is indicating the flow of information and the processing. Here these arrows are performing the flow of information and the processing further. Okay, so right here we have the first symbol. See here we have the symbol is like this. We can call this one is the terminal. We can call this one is the, here I will write here. See here, we can call this one is the terminal. Okay, what we can call here, this symbol is we can call terminal. Okay, why we are using this terminal? Here this terminal will be used for the start or stop, begin and symbols. Okay, so here also we have the symbol is like terminal. So why we are using these terminals? Why we are using these terminals means here you have to be start the process. Okay, so we can call this symbol is like a vowel symbol. Okay, so normally vowel symbol we can represent like this. Okay, or else you can, this is the ellipse symbol, whatever it may be, you can represent like this. Okay, so here in this terminal you have to be represent the start or stop, begin or end, anything you can write here. Okay, and next here we have the sum is equals 0, num is equals 0, num is equals num plus 1, sum is equals to sum plus num. So everything will be in the one diagrammatic only, right? So these we can call like a processing purpose. We can call these processing purpose. Means here these symbols are rectangle symbols. These symbols are, these four symbols are the rectangle symbols. Okay, these four symbols are the rectangular symbols. Okay, why we are using for that means you have to be process. Okay, so any process can be performed by this symbol. Whatever you are representing the problem for that, that is performed by this. Okay, so your rectangular symbol is for processing. Okay, for process, right? And next here we have the another symbol is like is num is equals to 50, that is we can call diamond symbol. This symbol we can call like a diamond symbol. Why we are using this symbol means here right, this is the vowel symbol, right? So here why we are using this diamond symbol means here to take these some decisions, to take these some decisions. Okay, so your this symbol is like a diamond symbol. Why we took the diamond symbol means you to take these some decisions, whatever you're writing the logic that can be performed by this diamond symbol. Okay, and next here we have the some print sum. Okay, so your this print sum is like a parallelogram. Here this symbol is the parallelogram. Okay, this symbol is the parallelogram. So why we wrote the symbol means here for the input and output performances. Whatever you are writing the input, whatever you are getting the output, that can be displayed by the parallelogram symbol. Okay, and next here we have another symbols also. Here I will represent that one. Okay, so what we have another symbols here? Circle. Yes, here also, here only we have the circle. See here only we have the circle, right? So this circle can be performed like a connector. It is connecting to the, okay, so it is connecting to the different parts of the flow chart. Here it is connecting to the different parts of the flow chart. Here also you can represent that one. Okay, here also you can represent that one. So here circle is the connector, circle is the connector. Okay, so next here we have the arrows. Next here we have the arrows. Every time here we have the arrows. Okay, whatever you have the arrows. Okay, so that is for flow. Here we have the arrows. These are all the arrows. Okay, these are all the arrows. Okay, so why we are using the arrows means here to flow. Okay, flow, it is going the flow of information, or else it is performing the processing. Okay, so sometimes we will get the, okay, in this we don't have, in the some situations of flow charts here we will get the one thing is like okay, we will get like this. Okay, so we can call this one is the annotation, means your bracket with a broken line. Okay, so this is the one type of bracket, so but it is having the one broken, so it is not having the line, right? So we can call this one is the bracket with broken line. Here we can call this one is the bracket with broken line. Here I will write, here we can call this one is the bracket with broken line. Here we can call this one is the bracket with broken line. So why we are performing this means here when you are writing the comments or any explanations in that situations, we are using this one. Okay, and also we have another one is the, okay, we have another representation, diagrammatic representation is like this. We can call this one is the double-sided rectangular. Actually we have the rectangular, but here I given two lines for this. Okay, we can call this one is the double-sided rectangle. Okay, we can call this one is the double-sided rectangle. Okay, by this double-sided rectangular, you can process, means your whatever subroutines, subtopics or subparts here, whatever you have by this double-sided rectangle, you can represent. Okay, so total we have terminals, okay, parallelograms, rectangles, diamonds, circles, arrows, and bracket with broken line, and the double-sided rectangle. In this example, we don't have a bracket with broken line and double-sided rectangle. In such example, we have these types also. Okay, in this example, what we have, that is already I explained in this. Okay, so everything will be performed. Okay, in the flowchart, diagrammatic representation. So here when you're writing the programs, you will not understand. When you're writing the steps, you will not understand. But in the flow chart, this is a one diagrammatic representation, means here everyone can understand in easy way. Right? Here this is the flow chart. Yes, here we can understand. Yes, this is the diagram. So with the visible, every can understand in easy way. With the visible format, every can understand in easy way, right? So and next here we have the fourth one is like Nasi Shadaman. Nasi Shadaman. So this is we are not using in every situation. Okay. So a Nasi Shadaman is representing the based on graphics. Okay. So here mostly we are using this one on the graphics. Okay. And it is where it is. Means here this one is used for this is taking the symbols and the language used in order to represent the some decisions or else actions or else any sequence, like that only. Here Nasi Siderman is taking the representation for the graphics, and it is making the use of symbols. It is taking the some symbols. Okay, so or else it is taking the languages. Not only symbols, it is taking the languages. So by that here it is representing the some decisions. By that here it is representing the some decisions, some actions, and also it is representing the some sequences. Okay, and also it is representing the some sequences. Okay, so this is the our topic for algorithm. Okay, so this is your topic for the algorithm. See this here, what we have here, total we have the four types of algorithm. Okay, different ways of starting algorithms. In this total we have the four different types of algorithms. Okay, so one is step format, second one is the pseudocode, third one is the flowchart, and fourth one is the Nasi Shadaman. Right? See, in the first step here, what you are doing, the first step here, what you are doing in this here, in the step format here, whatever you took the program or problem, anything, so you are writing that one into the step format, whatever you took. Okay, so in this we took the one example is like a queue. Okay, so first you have to be find the queue, and how many persons are there in that queue, you have to be calculate, you have to be count that one. Okay, so if that count is completed, you have to be stop that process. If that one is not completed, you have to be increase every time. Okay, you have to be increase every time, like this you have to be go with this. So next here what we have here, next we have the pseudocode. Next we have the pseudocode, right? Here in the pseudocode also you have to be mainly this pseudocode is structured for the programs only, but in this we are using the in this we are using the like English language only, but it is not taking the any syntaxes, any symbols. It is just prepared by the English like statements only. Okay, like this only here we are designing, but here we are writing the some conditions way. Okay, so like this here we are writing the some conditions way. Okay, so this is also prepared for prepared by the our steps format. And next here we have the flow chart. Third one, we have the flow chart. This flow chart can be represented by the diagrammatic representation. It is taking the some boxes and the symbols. Okay, so like this here you have to be represent every time. Okay, we have the terminals, rectangles, connectors, vowel symbols, diamond symbols, parallelogram. So everything will be designed for the our flow chart. Okay, so it is very useful and very visible to the users or any persons. And fourth one, we have the Nasi diagram. So this is mostly we are using in the graphics. Okay, so this is the your different ways of the algorithms topic. In the next class we will discuss the another topic for the our class. Thank you.